Welcome once again here to Championship Plaza. My name is Paul County, president and founder of Regional Radio Sports here in Mishawaka, Indiana. And we are thrilled once again to be here with a great group of champions. And, of course, the champion to my immediate left, a couple of them actually. Jason Lewkowicz, of course, the Jason Lewkowicz Show. We're glad you're joining us here from Bethel University. And this is about as exciting time being on this campus that we have had in a long, long time, Coach. And I know for you, really, it's still in the infancy stages of what you're doing here. But let's fly over some amazing things. Coach Polsgrove is here. His women's basketball team, back-to-back, wire-to-wire wins against two ranked teams. They never trailed in either game. Last night, of course, against 16th-ranked Spring Arbor, as the show we're taping is the day afterwards. Men's basketball, 28 wins again. Men's volleyball, number 10 in the country for the first time in school's history. Tommy Dunkley, one of the greatest athletic performances that I've seen in 25 years. What he did against Lord's University earlier this month is spectacular, earning him the NAI Defender of the Week. Then we can talk about swimming. We recognized swimmers last night, the women's back-to-back, and their conference opportunities. And, of course, neat to see the women's soccer team being honored last night. So we have a plethora of things to go. I want to congratulate Scott. I know we talked about it on our pregame show, our pre- and postgame show. It is so much fun to see the maturation not only of his student athletes, but also how this coaching staff has come together. And, boy, I tell you what, it's fun to watch them do their thing. Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jason, take it away.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about women's hoops. Man, it's been so much fun to watch again. Being new to Bethel, I've heard of the heyday and then heard of the subsequent downturn, and we're all on a definite upturn right now. And, Coach, let's talk specifically just about the past couple of weeks. I mean, you take number 6 team in the country, to overtime, just barely lose, and then bounce back with 2 huge wins over ranked opponents, including last night. Talk to us a little bit about just the state of the program, where the ladies are at right now mentally, and performance is obviously proven to be something that they're doing well. 17-8 right now. Winning record in the conference, 5th place, heading into the final stretch of the regular season.
Yeah, I think you can see the maturation of our program in that we were able to bounce back from that really tough loss to St. Francis. I'm not saying we should have won, but we certainly had plenty of opportunities, and to be able to bounce back from the real disappointment that was, and to go on the road to Huntington and get the job done there, and then to beat number 16 Spring Arbor last night just really showed how much we've grown as a program. And while you probably wouldn't consider our team a real veteran team, with the amount of minutes and experience our freshmen from last year, now sophomores, gained, I think is really paying dividends. We wouldn't have chosen or planned for it to happen like that with the situations that necessitated them playing a bunch of minutes last year, but I believe it's really paying off for us this year.
Absolutely. And what I love about the team and what I've seen so far is on any given night, there are 2 to 3 women who are just going to step up and give you a big performance out of a group. And so who in particular you feel like has really kind of stepped into a role that's really helped propel the team here this season?
Well, I think we've got 4 double-digit scores, so they have been kind of taking turns, being our leading scorer or having a really good night, and that's kind of a real luxury for us. We're not dependent on one person. I will say though that when Olivia Nickerson can get loose and get open from 3, and she can make some deep ones, it really changes everything for everybody else. Just having her on the floor, they guard her differently, they chase her, they don't show much help off of her, and so we're able to run some things because of how she's guarded, whether she's having a good night or not. And I think she had 3 points against Huntington. She had either 18 or 19 last night. I think she had 19 last night. So she is a very important piece, again, whether she's really knocking down the threes or not. And then, we've got Isabel Scales, a real undersized 4 at 5'8", but really active, got double-double last night. So when she's scoring inside, and we've convinced her that it's okay to take a perimeter jump shot once in a while, and she's starting to do that, that makes a big difference for us. Jasmine Smith, our starting post player. We knew last night was going to be a tough night for her, catching the ball in spots for her to score it, but she affected the game with her defense. She helped us run good offense, and she did a great job with limited touches inside. And then Brian Claywell, our other senior, didn't have a big scoring night, but she gives us a lot of she gives us good defense. She's our team leader in deflections this year. I think she had 5 last night. She stole an inbounds pass, jumped up and grabbed it. And again, while she didn't score a bunch last night, 2 huge offensive rebounds in a trip late in the game that we were able then to get a timeout, and then we got a 3-point play on an inbounds play out of bounds under. That doesn't happen if she doesn't do the job on the glass. So, we've got lots of people who are contributing. Our freshman point guard who got thrown into that role as a result of an injury. She didn't score a ton last night, but she had 6 assists. She only had 1 turnover. She's she's a great rebounder for someone being 5'4". She's averaging over 4 boards a game. You don't expect that. So, and then I can go into people off the bench too. So it's different pieces of the puzzle that need to fit together well, and we're fitting together pretty well right now.
Coach, what's the most interesting thing, and I know you and we kind of joked about it even before we started taping our program here today. Before our interview last night, we had talked about, where are you at? Are you on the bubble? And these are conversations that, quite frankly, we've not had those conversations here in a decade or in some change. And so now you're talking about that. Well, now with a win last night, certainly over a ranked opponent, now you have to put yourself in a position where people have to seriously look at you as a team that is going to get some postseason opportunities. And with that being said, that's a great opportunity for your student athletes. Yep. And I know it's changing your mindset, because now you're thinking about things that you didn't think about. You were probably thinking about, hey, listen, we just brought a new grandbaby into the world. You may be thinking about Notre Dame's defensive situation from last year, which
very concerned about that.
Those kind of things. But some of those things. But now you've added another layer. You peel back another layer of the onion, right?
You're exactly right. All those things, the ARC rating, the Massey rating, the RPI, all that kind of stuff, I couldn't have cared less about until about 2 weeks ago. Where we're at in a poll, it didn't concern me at all. And it didn't concern me because we were nowhere close to being considered for that kind of stuff. But that stuff matters now as we're trying to make a push to make the NAIA tournament.
Jason?
Yeah, and so with that in mind, and I know we talk a lot about, culture and process, and I know you're process-oriented. So how do you take the realities of what success brings and let it be something you acknowledge, but not be something that becomes a dominant feature, in the locker room and on the court?
Right. Well, a lot of coaches talk about there's winning and there's learning. I hope that there's also learning while you're winning. That would be the best case scenario, although losing tends to drive home the point of having to figure out a way to get better. But we as coaches and our coaching staff, and I'm blessed with 2 very good assistant coaches, we'll figure out some ways to help motivate our girls to improve. We didn't do a great job in transition last night. 15 of their 62 points came in transition, so there's some things that we can really point to, and we'll find a way. And I think the experience gained last year is paying dividends this year, and I feel very confident that the leadership of our team will help us, get focused today at 3:30 when we get back at it and get ourselves ready for Mount Vernon, a place that we have not played well in the 3 years that I've been here.
Yeah. A second question just off of that, and again, I'm around the team a lot, love being in the gym, and this group in particular, character, effort, attitude, like they're bought in, you can see that. How is that feeding into your recruiting process? I mean, you've been building for the past couple of years, and how is this group helping you, prepare for these future years with the folks coming in to visit?
Yeah, I don't know that I know the answer to that question yet. The recruiting class that we have coming in, we had all 4 commitments last August, which is unheard of in the short time I've been here. Usually we are pushing hard to try to get girls to commit to us for next year's class. And so we've had our class set since before we even started classes, which is highly unusual. But I do think culture is incredibly important to me. I actually had a phone call last night with one of our commits asking about another girl that I knew that she knew, and finding out from her that it wasn't that girl wasn't a fit for us, so we're not going to pursue that one. And that kind of thing is really important to me when we bring recruits on campus. The recruit might be a great basketball player, but if I get some feedback from our current players that say, Coach, not sure she's what we need or is going to work in the locker room, then I take that very seriously. And so we think we've created a really good culture, a culture of accountability, but a culture of a team-first mindset, the we before me type thing that you hear a lot of coaches talk about. But it's more than that. It's the bonds that are built when you go through tough stuff, the bonds that are built because, Jesus is important to everything that we do. Doesn't mean that we're better than anybody else. It's just important to us, and that helps our culture become what it is.
Absolutely.
One thing that, and Scott and I have had this conversation probably 24 times, but I think, Jason, just to kind of take you back in the Wayback Machine, but Coach Polsgrove was blessed immeasurably playing for one of the greatest college basketball coaches in the history of basketball, playing for Paul Patterson, the legendary coach at Taylor University. And I think a lot of some of those fundamental principles that he has built his life around and on come from his direct relationship with Paul Patterson. He offensively, defensively, I don't know if those tendencies as well as those things that Coach Patterson are still in play with Scott. I know some of them are, but the game's a little bit different. Our athletes are a little different. But I think one of the things that we've all three of us here together have had men and women in some cases that have fundamentally altered our direction. And I know that I would like Coach Polsgrove just to talk about the impact of really one of the greatest people I've encountered. And I've had a lot of encounter with when Coach Patterson was here during the Mike Lightfoot years. So talk about that, would you, Scott?
Yeah. Really, after my dad, Coach Patterson, probably the most influential person in my life, both obviously as a basketball player and then becoming a basketball coach. Not only did I get to play for him for 4 years, but I was his assistant for 2. And, probably since I graduated from college, and I'm not going to say the year that was, but it was a long time ago, until Coach passed away a few years ago, I probably talked with him once a week for 30 years, post-playing career and coaching career with him. Coach was a different kind of guy. He wasn't for everybody, but he was for me. And so athletically, how you run a program, the things that are important to you, a lot of that that I believe in can be traced back to Coach, but also having a deep faith and learning and growing through the tough stuff that, whether it's a tough loss or the tough stuff that we all have in life, is incredibly important, and how tough you have to be. He used to say, that Christ would speak to us through those things that we are most passionate about. And so whether that's basketball or athletics or anything else, no matter what that is, Christ speaks to us in different ways, and it's important to listen. With all the noise in the world, it's really important to listen and to learn and to grow. Another thing that I saw Coach do, he was an avid reader, and there was always stuff that he brought to the program, to relationships with players, that he gleaned from all the different books that he read. And I grew up as a kid. My mom was in the Christian book business. I had hundreds, if not thousands, of books in the basement of my house growing up. I didn't read 3 of them, But after going to Taylor and playing for Coach, I wouldn't call myself an avid reader, but I really do like to read. And, so it's little things like that that can make a difference in the lives of those people that you spend a lot of time with, that you invest in.
Jason?
Yeah, and I think watching Coach here as a coach, too, and just leading these young women, you see that. Like, I see the way – I just enjoy stopping by practice, and even the other day I was watching my son's game online. He's in Milligan, and I was up in the perch, and I was watching that game and then looking over. I just love watching them work and the way he goes about things. And I was excited when I took this job to get to know Scott, because he has Western North Carolina roots, and we didn't know each other. But if we hit the Wayback Machine a little bit, I recruited one of his daughters when I was coaching track at Montreat, and she didn't end up in Montreat, but she had a great career. And so when we got here, it was just he was someone I was really looking forward to getting to know, and as well as his family. And he's been the real deal, and just been a great person to chat with. And I love how he's frank and sincere, and I appreciate those qualities. And he coaches those ladies in a way that demands for them to bring the best version of themselves. And so we're grateful for that, and it's showing.
Another question I got for you, Scott, totally unrelated to your basketball team. I know you are thrilled because you had a chance to hire Steve Draven, work with Steve Draven, and you've had a chance to see him mature into the role that he has. I mean, he has grown into become one of the best basketball coaches that's ever blown a whistle inside this gymnasium, and that says a lot. So talk about, as you look at it, because you've seen it from a wide variety of roles. What's your take on what Stevie's doing?
Yeah, I think, first of all, Steve and I have very similar backgrounds. His dad was a coach. My dad was a coach. He grew up in northern Indiana. I grew up in northern Indiana, so there's a lot of similarities there. He wishes he was as good a shooter as I was, and I'll make sure that he knows that. Yeah, Steve is detail-oriented. He really invests himself in his players and his staff. He is a relentless worker. I saw that when I hired him as an assistant coach when I was the head coach at Lees McRae in North Carolina, and obviously we've stayed close. He was very young and not married when he came to work for me, so he's seen my kids grow up. I mean, he hired my oldest son, Mark, to be his first assistant here. So there's a lot of strong ties, and I love him like a brother. He's a great family man, and Bethel couldn't have a better men's basketball coach than Steve Draven.
I copy
Agreed.
that.
Yep.
What's your shtick for this week?
Are we there? Is it time?
We're there.
Okay. We end the show by asking some questions.
Okay.
Maybe you peeked at the cheat sheet already.
I haven't, so
they're not too big. They're just trying to have a little fun.
All right.
Lighten the mood. But
Okay.
I will say before we do it, just again, I echo those statements about Coach Draven. And man, we just have a tremendous group of coaches at Bethel. What Coach Jose is doing with men's volleyball is absolutely incredible. I wasn't here this past Saturday, but probably one of the best sports plays I've ever seen in my life. A clip from that game against Mount Vernon. I'll have to show you if you haven't seen it. There was a kick save in it, and about a 45-second rally, which is in men's volleyball.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm jumping ahead, but I had to mention that. And but all right, so we'll start off with softball.
Okay.
What's your favorite condiment? This is for
Whoa, I wasn't ready for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that you can go wrong with Chick-fil-A sauce.
Okay.
I had some of that last night, by the
There
way.
you go. That's solid.
I think salsa goes down the middle for me, right down the middle. Any type of salsa, green, red, I'm good with that.
Yeah,
Okay.
My wife makes the best homemade salsa. Better than any restaurant anywhere.
All right, well, we need to get some of that here.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's got to be priority number one.
Yeah,
for next week.
absolutely.
Come on now.
Absolutely.
Next week, Grace is in town, so we'll have a pre-game salsa event. There we go.
There you go.
I'm digging that.
I've never heard of salsa as a condiment, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna adopt that.
Yeah, salsa on everything.
I was gonna go ketchup for myself, but
okay.
it just goes with everything as well. All right, next one. This is gonna require maybe a little more thought. If you were to star in a movie, would you play the hero, the villain, or supporting character?
Supporting character.
Okay.
Definitely.
I think that being the alpha male that I am, I would probably say that I would be, and this is only the reference that probably Coach Chris Hess would say, I would probably be Samwise the Brave in the movie Lord of the Rings. I would be the helper. I know my spiritual gift is the gift of encouragement, so I would be helping Frodo get the ring to Mordor. How about that one?
There you go.
That is really a detailed-oriented
I
one.
like that. I appreciate that. If I have a chance to grab a cape, I'm going to take advantage of it. So I'm going to choose the hero. All right. Final question. What do you enjoy most about your job, your work? You're both very dedicated professionals. What do you enjoy most about it?
I'd say being able to work with my team, the individuals, building relationships, seeing them improve, seeing them accomplish something that maybe they didn't think they could, or obviously we're in a team sport, being able to do things together as a team, but just working with my team, whether it's on an individual basis with the team as a whole, that's why I do what I do.
Well, I think for me professionally, when I got into this business, first of all, this is the only thing I ever wanted to do since I was 4. So to be able to be in a position where what you're doing for a career and for your life is that. However, professionally speaking, as I've developed my skill, I realize, and it's a Bethel story, is 25 years ago when Coach Lightfoot asked me to come here and be a part. I'm starting to do men's basketball. And as I developed a relationship with the men's basketball, we went to women's basketball, then it went to baseball. And then I realized, and as a matter of fact, I spoke at the FCA gathering here one time, and I realized that God planted me here to make an impact in the lives of coaches and to pray with coaches and to be in the lives of the student athletes. And I still have unbelievable great relationship with athletes and coaches. And so one of the things I like to look back on it is that I bloomed where God planted me, and I am so thankful. And I mean, Scott and I have developed a great relationship the last 4 or 5 years since he's been here, and I just, those are things that I love. I'm so happy for him be in a position now to have some success, because I've seen him, how hard he has worked. I have seen the journey. I understand the journey that he has been on and the commitment that he has made to the program. But I'm also equally as excited the fact that as a father and as a grandfather of 9, that he is closing in on matching the Condries with 9 grandchildren, because that's going to happen so we can have our own teams play against each other at some point in time.
There we go.
So I'm excited about stuff like that going on. I'm excited about athletes coming back to this campus, stopping by the broadcast table to give you a hug or a pat on the noggin, whatever the case may be. To me, that's a great situation, and I'm so thankful. I'm thankful to the ADs who have been here and who have allowed me to, I want to use the term, spread my ministry wings to be able to make an impact in the lives of the kids as well as the coaches.
Oh,
great.
Well, you're both a blessing and a gift to Bethel. I can say that. And again, what I love about what I do is being able to work with coaches, and do it in a place where we can put Jesus on display. It's what it's all about. Coach alluded to that, and that's what makes us unique. We can take these things, these principles, pursue excellence, pursue winning, but do it in a way that puts us second or third in the list, and puts Christ up at the front where he belongs.
Well, one of the things that Jose had mentioned to me during volleyball this past weekend, we did the doubleheader there, and I know we moved the Saturday, or was it the Friday night game, back 30 minutes because there was a leadership event.
That's right.
And one of the things that Jose mentioned to me that I think I want to bring up here since it's your show, is that something that you said, hey, listen, I'd like to move this back up because there's a campus-wide leadership event. And I think it bodes well from what you're trying to establish here, is that the leadership, athletics is really important. It really, really is. But the leadership and changing the lives and changing the hearts and minds of future leaders by making leadership a priority. And by you doing that, I think that kind of sets the tone. And Scott, you correct me if I'm wrong, but everything starts at the top, and if the leadership at the top is strong and fundamental, I think that's a great place for this place to be, and I'm happy that you did that. Kudos to you, Coach.
Yeah,
I wholeheartedly agree. The importance of leadership, whether it's a business, an athletic department, a college, a classroom, a family, is incredibly important, and I don't know that there's enough. We couldn't spend enough time talking about that, and that having those leaders being mentored by people who've done it in the past, or people who have influenced them. The mentorship and accountability stuff is so important, really in any of those areas. So.
Tanner Camp wants to know, are you going to raise all those 9 grandchildren to be Notre Dame fans?
100%.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. I think that's going to do it for the Jason Lewkowicz show on
good.
that particular note. Once again, a special thanks to Scott Polsgrove as well as the main man himself, Jason Lewkowicz, for joining us here. To Tanner Camp and Alexis, everyone here who worked so hard at Sports Information to make Bethel University a really, really special place. We thank you for joining us here today on Regional Radio Sports. I'm Paul Condry. God bless you all. Thanks for joining us here on the Regional Radio Sports Network.